That's an example of a worldview. Hopefully there was instant recognition and maybe a kind of a, oh gosh, he's got the image in upside down, silly thing, until you realised that all the text was aligned this way up. So absolutely, you know what that is. There's no question that we're looking at something different. We're looking at it different too. So this reflects a Māori worldview. And the reason being is that the North Island, another name for it is Te Ika Maui, the fish of Maui. And the head of the fish is in the Wellington area, Tupoko Te Ika Maui. And so it's, I don't know whether it's a human kind of convention that when we think about things, we orient them with the head up. Maybe it's because if we stood on our heads, we'd feel a bit dizzy after a while. So it's kind of how we view things. So this is how Māori view Aotearoa, New Zealand. We're going down to the north. We're going up to Wellington, or up to the South Island. So it's not that it's anything different, it's just that how we see and make sense of the world is from a different world view. Yeah.
And so, as the beginning of kaupapa Māori, it must go back to the whakapapa, o te timatanga. And that's what it was referring to. The hidden spaces, the long distance spaces, and the space of interaction. And there's a later development. Pupuke te iri, pupuke te maara, pupuke te wānanga, wānanga nui a te kore. And so this is another body of knowledge that our people talk about. Pupuke te iri, energy in space, abundant energy. Pupuke te maara, and there is the reference to memory. Pupuke te wānanga, and burgeoning of knowledge. And these are elements as part of a life principle. Wānanga nui a te kore. And so we go back to that kore concept once again. Wānanga nui a te kore. And I would like to say that kai roto katoa e nei kōrero i tēnā iwi, tēnā iwi, tēnā iwi, e nei kōrero. Engari kua tae pēr te wā, ke wakaarahia mai e nei kōrero. A I roto tonu I a koutou anō, I roto tonu I a mātou anō. Nā te mea, ka kore pērātia, e kore taia te waka ono ki ngā kōrero, ka kōrero tia, I roto I a tātou, I roto I te reo Māori, I rongo au e te kōrero I tiatane. A tāhua ngā kōrero, a tāhua ngā mai e mai a mai, a tāhua te hiki ake I te wairua tangata, te Māori tangata, I runga I ngā koutou. So I see importance here in being able to get the knowledge out of that body of knowledge, because I believe it's as relevant today as it was 1,000 years ago. And so we need to look for ways of bringing those two bodies of knowledge together. Because as I said earlier, if we talk about it in Māori, it has a different focus, it has a different emphasis, and it has a different means of connection into the spiritual world and the physical world, because we're talking about the natural laws of the universe. And so we go from there to ho tupu ho ora, ora ki te wakatupua, ora ki te wakatawita. And so there's the beginning of life itself, life principle. Te oranga, the ability, the potential for life. It's being talked about in this one.
I've heard the phrase of kōpū thinking, and I'm just interested where the invigoration source point comes from. Is it a mental thing, or is it a manawa thing, or as you say?
It's the meeting point between everything, and ko koera te whare tuatahi o te tangata.
And is that pretty much everything, that's the decision-making process for you about whether you do or not do something? What's that like for, I don't know, What's that like for your mum and dad when they see that and they see you making decisions in that way? Because people always try and overthink this, right? And there's a tick box process. And to be honest, that's kind of what I do. There's a tick box process that says, yeah, tick all those boxes, okay, bang. Some might say it's called thinking from the gut. I actually don't think it is that. I think it's a lot more kind of spiritual and natural, and maybe a bit mystical for some people, to make a decision in that way. So what's it like for mum and dad when they see you making decisions that way? Because that's hard to control.
Mum's very, well, that's completely two opposite people. One's from Waikato, one's from Ngāpuhi. They already have an unbalanced, one's telling me yes, one's telling me no. But te kōpū, ka tino kitea I te huarahi e ngā kaunui te ana e au.
Have you always been pretty much your own decision maker? Have you always pretty much said, okay, I'm going to...
If it's that, well, Dad doesn't. If it was up to him, he wouldn't want to wake up doing tawhara clouds at Waipa, and Mum wouldn't want to be going down to Wellington. So, yeah, a lot of those whakaaro was just hearing. It's honestly hearing our tupuna. So I think a pivotal time for me was being lucky enough to do the interviews for all of the claimants on our, and funny that comes around in a circle, of the settlement. And I was a transcriber, and I was listening to people like Sir Robert Mahuta, listening to people like Lady Daiha, listening to people like Shane Solomon, who were pivotal in that time, my pop, in that era. And when you hear something like that, okay, now what am I going to do? And that's just how it is. You hear what they've done, but what are you going to do?
Wow. So, is that the same process that led you to, say, go do something like kickboxing?
That was just because it was COVID and I was listening to our dad boss us around, and I was like, oh no, I need to get out of here. That was the only other place. But yeah.
But you did really well in that, as I recall. Like it was, I mean, it's not every day that people think, oh, well, I'm going to go fight some people. Go kickboxing and, go and do something like that. It's not people think about it, but they don't end up doing it because, it's that Mike Tyson thing. Everyone's really brave until they get hit in the face.
I think for me, it was like, okay, what's the bestest way that my muscles and my āhua can do the same things that my tupuna did? So hine keira, whawhākia, whakaotirangi, hine terehia, ena momo wahine atua that I can not be like, but have those same actions. That's like a adrenaline rush moment for me that just makes my kōpū go.
Wow. What were your teachers saying about you when you were at Ākaumanga?
Why are you asking so many questions? So, no. I was definitely blonde at kura, still am, but there's moments where I'm like, oh yeah, no, let's go save the world. But
and at a later level comes to rangi and papa. Our old people talked about te rā te wā, kaore he rangi, kaore he wenua. A te mea, e ku tere ana te ao. There's no rangi, no papa, because the world was in a continuum of the Western world refers to it as chaos. Maori's different. It was not chaos. It was a pattern, a woven pattern of cyclic interaction. How's that? So it was not chaos, because when there's an explosion of energy, it's part of a process, it's part of a cycle. And once the explosion has borne itself out, it stabilizes once again. And so there's balance. there's equilibrium that is part of that dynamic. And therefore, e mārama tūturana o tātou kuia, tātou tau eke ki ene yahuata. And so from there, we come to Rangian Papa, and ka puta ngā tamariki a rangi, rāua ko Papa. E nā kōrero, korongo. Korongo tau tangata matua te nā tuatai. And then there were all the others. Tāne, Tangaroa, tūmatau e ngā haumia tike tike tāri mātea. Then of course, can we include in here Hene Ahuone? Because it's part of the dynamics of life itself. And so it goes on and on. But I think the important thing about this is that the interaction and the beginning and a recognition of natural universal law. Natural universal law. Koe nei ngā tua o te pō o te ao Māori. The beginning of natural universal law.
But at that particular time in the campaign, did you ever think about, this is too much, I don't want to do this?
Absolutely, absolutely. I remember actually asking my parents, like, am I going to survive on this campaign? Like, will I make it out alive? I truly, truly remember asking that. And I just didn't see any other politicians or any other people. Like, it's not that a politician, you get it's not an easy job. It's really tough. And you've put yourself out there to represent people. And people have the freedom of speech to not like what you're saying. And I get that. But to invade your personal privacy, your home, your everything is being so young. And then my friends came over and they said, no, because then we have to take all your signs off, and we're not doing that. So we were really intentional about saying, I'm not going to put myself in here and do this without your help. Like, I can't do this by myself. So it was really about telling our people that if this generation has made it this far, with all your support, we need to go harder and go stronger. And yeah, I only said we're here. I don't really do much.
It's incredibly difficult though.
Te awa tua o tātou mātua tīpune tā kina mai nā e tōna kupu he auki. It is not the world of God. There again, your mind is just gone. Wherever that is. That's personal to you and your opinion. That's not sky and earth. That is not an opinion. Because you can go like this. In my opinion, that's the sky. Is it the sky, yes or no? This is Mātauranga Māori, it's absolute. In the Pākehā world, absolutism comes through numerical, through numbers. That's their best at absolutism. We have another style of thinking about that. What is absolute? There's the kōrero a te korowini a te rangikahi. Kautia i tana kore ko tahi. Ko tahi te o mārama, ko rangi, ko papa. It's an absolute. What's the absolute? Please look up and make a decision. Is that up and the sky? It's a decision you have to make. This is a completely different way of thinking about living and reality. The reality you have in your mind, the worldview that you live in, the patumanua of your mind is a worldview that has been decolonized, all those sorts of words. They're not words that I know in my family. They're concepts that just don't exist.
Instrument, and it's a wonderful tool and it's extremely valuable. But we've seen the excesses of an overemphasis on rationality without balancing that out with a life-centered set of ethics, a consideration of the non-rational part of our lives. I suggest not the irrational part of our lives, the non-rational part of our lives. So dream and intuition and so on. In keeping with our Indigenous cultures, an emphasis upon place, specific geographies. These are tremendously important. In our tradition, we didn't run our wānanga processes just anywhere. These were certain places were set aside because of their significance historically, because of the invocation of ancestors, for example. A certain ancestor was at this particular physical place, and we wish to invoke that ancestor, the mana of that ancestor, into our wānanga process, in our process of the creation of new knowledge.
The values that came out of those mainstream schooling, Now, as I move from that worldview into a Mātauranga Māori worldview, I need to create and craft a new set of lenses. Because if I take the lenses that were created for that generic worldview and try and understand, use them to understand and interpret Mātauranga Māori, I'm trying to understand something from a different worldview, using a different set of values and principles. And then we begin to do that horrible thing in creating assumptions. We begin talking past each other, we miss the point. So simply, kaupapa Māori theory, the reconscientisation that's got to occur, is just simply taking off that set of lenses, putting on another set of lenses, and then you will begin to see the issues of why the term Māori is problematic for Māori. And that in there, the actual true understanding of elements within Māori sit in a tribal context. Now, and again, some of the key terms I'm going to use in here is there's this notion of whakapapa. Whakapapa generally is being referred to as genealogy. It is that. However, if we were to trace this particular word back to its simple root basis, it talks about te whakaraupapa, simply meaning laying things out in their sequential order of events. This come first, this come next, this followed. Knowledge has a whakapapa. Knowledge has a sequential order of events.
Well, your rangatiratanga can only be asserted by us. The Crown can only assert kāwanatanga. So when we're talking about mana motuhake, rangatiratanga, we assert that. And so I agree with the kōrero that we can have these days at any point if we assert our rangatiratanga. And when we talk about parihaka and we talk about the Pāhua, November 5th, most people in this country celebrate Guy Fawkes. They celebrate some dude in Britain who failed to blow up the colonial government. Some of us actually celebrate the fact he tried. Much more useful for Māori. So we already know that actually, for the Pāua, we do that anyway. Parihaka does that anyway. But this nation does need to know. And so it's relatively straightforward to remove Guy Fawkes and replace it. Because Guy Fawkes has no relationship to Aotearoa at all. So to Lil's point, that it takes a long time. There is a long game, but it also takes a short time, like he's telling us. It can take a long time or it can take 48 hours, depending on the will of the government, depending on the will of the kāwanatanga of the time. The treaty settlement process is not a rangatiratanga process, it's a kāwanatanga process. That's what both Jamie and Peter and Tudu, they've all been saying the same thing. So we're engaged in a process which is fundamentally abusive, because we're talking about power relationships with a crown that determine all the rules, that determine everything. You know, they steal the land and they determine whether or not they give it back. So we're in that whole situation again of an imbalance of power that continues, and the same with acknowledgement of, you know, what has happened in terms of Waitara and in Aotearoa generally. I think one thing we need to remember when we talk about things like intergenerational trauma and colonial trauma is that we have a right to our history, we have a right to our backstory, because it's more than just a history of talking about the stories. Inherent in that is a process of healing. And that's something that Ruakere talked a lot about today.
That's right. I'm going to pick up on that one after the break if I can. E te wiki au tonu mai ki ai te...